This weekly newsflash is sponsored by Creative Marketing, Making a Difference. For more information, please visit creativemarketing.net. The Securities and Exchange Commission recently released a study recommending a common fiduciary standard of care for brokers and investment advisors. Under the Dodd-Frank Act, the SEC can hold brokers to the stricter fiduciary standard that investment advisors are currently held to. The stricter standard requires investment advisors to put the interest of their clients before their own, while the standard brokers are currently held to requires the products they sell are suitable for their clients. The study found that people are confused about the roles of brokers and recommends the SEC consider implementing the same protections for investors when brokers and advisors perform the same duties. The two Republicans on the commission said the study's conclusions weren't adequately supported by the data, and more analysis should be done to ensure investors would not be harmed by changes in the fiduciary standard. Fewer wealthy Americans are relying on mutual funds, and even among those who do, allocations continue to decline significantly, according to a recent study by Cogent Research. The report, which is based on a survey of 4,000 investors with at least $100,000 in investable assets, found that 75% of respondents owned mutual funds in October, down from 78% 1 year earlier. In October 2006, 94% of investors owned at least one mutual fund. While mutual funds' popularity decreases, a growing number of investors are turning to exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, Cogent said. Between 2006 and 2010, the proportion of investors who say they own ETFs has risen 57%. And while the proportion of assets allocated to mutual funds remains stable, the past 4 years have seen the average allocation made to mutual funds decrease from 53% to 44%. In comparison, ETF allocation has risen from 11% to 16% over the same time period. According to John Munier, a principal at Cogent, quote, "These numbers reflect a dramatic shift in preference among investors for both mutual funds and ETFs. And while it's impossible to know exactly how things will play out, it's clear that a major realignment is underway." Unquote. The majority of employers have no plans to reduce spending on non-medical benefits as a result of healthcare reform, according to the recently released MetLife Healthcare Reform Poll. Just 1 in 10 employers with fewer than 500 employees and 2 in 10 with 500 or more employees said they plan to reduce spending on benefits such as disability, life insurance, and dental insurance. In fact, 43% of the employers who were surveyed said they believe non-medical benefits will play an even larger role in their companies during the next 5 years. According to Dr. Ronald Leopold, Vice President and National Medical Director, U.S. Business at MetLife, quote, "This is good news for workers since the poll also found that healthcare reform has increased the importance of non-medical benefits to them." Unquote. He notes that 71% of employees who say they have a good understanding of healthcare reform say their non-medical benefits are very important in regards to their employer loyalty. This compares to just 57% of employees who do not have a good understanding of the recent reform. 11% of employers with fewer than 500 employees said they intend to ramp up their wellness and disease management programs. Among companies with 500 or more employees, the percentage climbs to 27%. In the wake of the legislation, 57% of employers with fewer than 500 employees and 48% of those with 500 or more workers said they intend to rely more heavily on consultants, brokers, and agents. The Securities and Exchange Commission has released a new study detailing trends in the Registered Investment Advisor, or RIA, population and in the SEC's RIA examination process. Prompted by requirements included in the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act to help improve RIA examinations, the report reveals rapid growth among RIAs, but surprisingly, fewer regulatory examinations. According to the report, the RIA population increased significantly during the past 6 years, climbing from 8,581 on October 1, 2004 to 11,888 on September 30, 2010. The 38.5% increase averages out to a 5.7% annual growth rate, the SEC said. Meanwhile, assets managed by RIAs increased by 58.9% to $38.3 trillion from $24.1 trillion, an average growth rate of 9.1%. The report also included some startling news about RIA examinations, which are conducted by the SEC's Office of Compliance Inspections and Examinations. Although the RIA population has experienced steady growth, the number of staff examiners has declined by 3%, the SEC said. Additionally, the number of annual examinations of RIAs fell by 29.8%, from 1,543 in 2004 to 1,083 in 2010. According to the report, at the current rate, quote, the average registered advisor could expect to be examined less than once every 11 years, compared to approximately once every 6 years in 2004, unquote. For more on the industry, visit producersweb.com.